Welcome back to the Mandelbulb 3D Tutorial Series. We are at session 131, and we have come up on the point where we can actually render. So I've gone through in previous sessions, I've gone through the quality, I've optimized the best I can. I'm happy with it. Obviously, we don't really know how it's going to look until we have a full animation. We know that we're going to have some speed issues that we feel that we can deal with in the video editor. Now, so we are really coming up on a point here where we are going to render these subframes in a meaningful manner, because we got the quality where we want it, or at least as good as we can get it. The dynamic fog and all of that kind of stuff is kind of tweaked out to the best we can. So now, we don't need this task manager right here. I've shown you how all the cores are used. We had talked about the internal tab on the main window. Use all the cores you got. Keep your thread priority to normal, and let the operating system handle the rest of it. All right. Now, so what we need to talk about right now is your preparation for rendering your subframes. This is just kind of the preparation. Now, first thing is, save everything, save your animation, save your project. I have never witnessed the Mandelbulb 3D application damage anything during the rendering, but for me it's sort of like kind of tying everything together and kind of settling it in, being assured that I actually have the project saved where I want it to be. Now, up on your animation window, there's a couple things you need to check. Now, you'll notice here that we're going to be rendering at the full resolution that we're going to publish at. All right, and we have an anti-aliasing of 1. We want to set that to 2, at least 2. You can set it higher. But now what that means is that the software is going to render this image twice. All right, and the idea is to try to get rid of or improve the jaggies that you tend to get in a digital image when you have a diagonal, for instance, and it's stair steps. So now that's going to double the time that it takes to render. So this is currently rendering at 22 seconds, all right, at an anti-aliasing of 1. If I double that, it's going to take twice as long. And we know here that this is an anti-aliasing of 1. So this project is going to take 50 hours. All right, or a couple days, 2 days, 50 hours, 4 days, something like that. All right, no, 2 days, 2 days. You're getting me all confused. All right, I got too many 2's up here. All right, so this is going to take, around 48 hours to render this whole thing. But do keep in mind that we have optimal quality. We have our DE stop, and we have our ray step multiplier. They're set way down, but we're going for good quality. And it's the higher the quality, the longer it takes to render. And the issue is that once you have your animation rendered out, there's not a whole lot you can do to improve the quality. So unfortunately, you just have to get the quality right as you can, and then just live with how long it takes to render. All right, so you want to check your anti-aliasing. You want to double check that you're rendering out as PNG. The preview here has got nothing to do with final rendering. You're obviously not rendering any stereo, so that needs to be unchecked. You're not saving the Z buffer, unchecked. You're not looping the animation, unchecked. Now, it comes down to a couple other important things. This overwrite existing images, uncheck that if you're in a network rendering situation. Now, this is probably as good a time as any to explain what this network rendering is. Now, so here's the way it works. You have some sort of hard drive. This could be a PC sitting somewhere. And this hard drive, we'll call this the hard drive. Okay, what's the symbol for a hard drive? All right. And so now you have another PC out this way. And that PC is running your Mandelbulb animator. You have another PC that's running the Mandelbulb animator and another one. So you have 3 personal computers, or 10, or 2, okay, doesn't matter, that are each running the Mandelbulb 3D animation that you have prepared. All right, this guy. All right. All right. So they're each running a Mandelbulb animation. I'll just put an A there, animation. Now, each of these are pointing to the hard drive on this network PC. All right, so each one of them is pointing to this output folder, and that output folder is right here. All right. So so every time that this animation starts rendering and finishes rendering a subframe, it will be written to the hard drive. Now, the cool thing about this network rendering is this. If this animation, this PC and this animator window is working on, let's say, is working on subframe number 1, this animator knows to not work on number 1. So it will say, well, look, I'm going to work on number 2. And when this animator comes along, it knows that other Mandelbulb3Ds are working on, say, subframes 1 and 2, so it'll work on 3. So basically, when your files are laid down, you've got subframe 1 and subframe 2 and subframe 3, and 3 different computers in this scenario, could be 5 computers, could be 2 computers, have each rendered out a subframe. Now, when this one is done, and these 2 are still working on, say, for example, subframes 2 and 3, this will say, let me go work on subframe 4. All right, and when this guy is done, all right, and he's still working, he'll say, oh, let me go work on subframe 5 when he's done. All right, so the point is that this is network rendering in the Mandelbulb 3D flavor that basically says that you can have multiple PCs that are all working on the same animation project on different PCs that are each writing their final subframe files to a single network reachable hard drive, like that. All right. Excuse me. So network rendering is a So network rendering is an interesting way of being able to utilize multiple PCs in order to get your whole animation rendered in less time. All right, that's called network rendering, and the Mandelbulb 3D fully supports this and has never let me down. Never has let me down. As a matter of fact, what I did have one situation where for whatever reason, one of the PCs stopped working. In that particular case, it froze up, stopped working. So it wasn't producing any subframes, but these other two just kind of moved ahead. And since it didn't recognize any files that the broken PC was working on, it just moved ahead. It took longer to render the whole animation, but even if one of these PCs is taken offline, the network rendering continues on, and I have never had any damaged subframes as a result. All right, so that is network rendering, and what you want to do is you want to check things up on your window here, your Animation Maker window, before you're ready. The key settings would be: make sure your PNG, make sure your anti-aliasing is where you want it, make sure you don't have overwrite existing images, and make sure that your output folder is where you want to go. And that will be sufficient for preparing you for rendering your animation. Okay? All right, enough for now. We're over time. Again, I'll see you in the next session. I'll see you there.